Okay, we have game 3 up on the board here. Colonies on the board. There's also Black Market, and those games tend to be long because I like to just go through all 60 cards and see what's there, just to see if it might be a goons. You don't know. What if there's a goons there? I don't know. I could probably tune up my Black Market play. Anyways, aside from Black Market, the only draw on the board is Alchemist, which is most reliable. Enchantress is there too, but you need actions for that to work, right? Bank seems to be quite useful, especially given that there's no way to get rid of your coppers. You probably want to play with a potion, so that's already 8 treasures. Bank is easily worth 9 already. Seems brilliant. And you have a couple very, very strong events. Well, Inheritance particularly. Training is also quite good, especially with something like Port on the board. A pile you could just get lots of. So we'll see how things go, right? I go for Armory Black Market, hoping to top deck our potion with my Armory and then go after the Alchemist chaps that way, but it doesn't work out because both of these guys collide. My opponent goes for Quarry on Black Market. I'm not really sure what the Quarry is helping him with here. Everything is cheap and Armory could get it. So I'm not really sure. Maybe later in the game when you want to pile out, the Quarry is more useful, but right now, anyways, I'll just take it, right? So here I didn't top deck the potion because I felt like, well, there's no estates here, so they must all be in the 7 cards, so doesn't make sense to top deck the potion. I probably will not get to Alchemist. This is next to useless for the black market. Not unhappy about that. So yeah, I didn't top deck the potion because probably not gonna have enough money. Didn't have enough money, so we'll just take the pawn and move along. Right, the pawn is a fine card to add to the deck. Fine card to add to the deck. No real problems with adding the pawn. So here now I see the armory. My opponent now picks up an enchantress, so that is actually quite significant. Seeing as how we're both going after alchemists, it means that um, if you have 5 alchemists in your hand, well, you have 4 alchemists in your hand and 1 blank card. So I am also going to go after the enchantresses. I need some draw desperately because I was a little bit later on picking up the potion, so I need to catch up on the draw part of this game, especially because there's no trashing. So here my opponent could have picked up a transmute, and I thought nothing of it, but after the match, Tracer pointed out transmute actually could put in some work for this man because he could trash coppers and not gain future transmutes off of it. And that's pretty early in the game for a trasher from the black market, so potentially that could have put in some good work for him there. It also turns estates into golds. I know there's inheritance on the board, but it still seems a reasonable thing to do. I pull a moat out of the black market, a little bit of draw, a little bit defense against the enchantress chaps, and not chaps, they're little girls. And I go for the ports, right? Just the reason for the port is because of that training pile as opposed to the workers village. I don't really need the plus buy so much, especially with black market around. I could probably get my plus buy from that instead. So finally, our first alchemist for me. My opponent is a little bit ahead on that front. He still doesn't have an armory yet. Still doesn't have an armory yet. And I feel like he should have an armory. There's so many good things to gain on the board. Pawn, port, workers village, black market. All of these things are enchantress too. They're good targets for armory. So I finally managed to stick my enchantress into play, and I go for a couple more ports here. I considered picking up another enchantress because I need the draw, but you know, let's go with the port. Just trying to angle for that training token a little bit. This moat blocks. Hooray! Good job, moat from the black market. My opponent picks up a sentry from the black market here. So some trashing for him. Mildly concerned because I have no trashing, but at this stage in the game, man, Sentry just makes me angry sometimes because I expect it to trash 2 cards and it doesn't always do that. So that's my fault. I expect too much from Sentry. Some kind of weird cartographer breed. Cartographer cross with junk dealer breed thing. I don't know. Anyways. So 5 there was not 6. Had it been 6, I would have put my training token down on the ports. As is, 5 is just more ports, and I top deck another enchantress. Time to get this draw engine rolling. Right? Need lots and lots of draw to make it work. The Alchemist is gonna make you a lot more stable as opposed to just a pure Enchantress thing. Enchantress doesn't even draw that many cards, to be honest. It's just sort of a supplementary kind of thing slash attack your opponent kind of thing. So here, could pick up the Candlestick Maker. Don't want a Candlestick Maker. I don't want the plus buy. I don't want the stop card. You could stay in the black market. Much rather have a pawn instead of a Candlestick Maker at this point in the game. So I'm able to top deck my Alchemist here, which is a little bit fortunate. Oh boy, what is that? That is a possession. Please don't have enough money to buy possession. Please don't have enough money to buy the single possession in the black market deck. Quarry, okay, that makes it cheaper. Do you have the potion? Okay, no potion. No potion. We can breathe. He does pull the rogue out though, which is okay. I mean, he has to be able to play that every single turn for me to get worried about that though. If it only comes once in a while, I can deal with it. So here, again, I do see my potion with my alchemists. So very, very lucky. Very, very lucky to see that pairing come together for me here. The Enchantress is putting in some work, forcing my opponent to make as mildly uncomfortable decisions, but still rather have him make the slightly uncomfortable decision than not, right? So again, 5 here is not 6. I would have put the training token down on the ports if it was 6. I would not have picked up another Alchemist. Maybe that's wrong, but if loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right. No, that has nothing to do with the game. More ports, finally ports for my opponent. I believe I picked up ports, or maybe, I can't remember what I picked up on my last turn, but anyways. I do top deck a potion here because I didn't see my potion with these alchemists and I really wanted to have this chain stable. And 2 potions in a big deck, that's not crazy at all. Not crazy at all. So I do put the potion on top of the deck just to make sure that I can stick the alchemist back and I have enough money for inheritance, finally. So what is the choice? Enchantress. Because I have so many ports in my deck, I can make use of all the estate enchantresses in my deck. So, and it should help me draw a lot more cards throughout my deck here. So I think Enchantress was the right way to go there, and I'm happy that I was also able to stick back all my alchemists on top of the deck. So now really, I have 2 potions in the deck, I believe, plus Armory, so I should be fairly reliable with my alchemists at this point, right? If I see the Armory, I could just play it to top deck another potion if I need to do that to keep my alchemists around. So here, I top deck a Workers Village for a source of plus buy, really. I'm looking to pile out the game here, by the way. I do not want to go back and have that possession come and just ruin everything. So I'm trying to finish the game before we get back to the possession, which is a reasonable goal, right? We're not going to get there anytime soon. I'm not going to pick up any more black markets to try to cycle through the black market. No sir, no sir. We are just going to take our time and empty the piles. The ports are gone. My opponent didn't want me to have lots and lots of ports with money on them, so he took the rest of them. No problems there, sir. No problems there. Black market here does pull out the replace, which is nice for ending the game because I can turn my coppers into estates. And estates are not just estates anymore for me. I have inherited these estates, these enchantresses, these mystic witches of the woods. And they work, the estates work as enchantresses. I was just checking the inheritance thing earlier on to make sure that it worked. And they do work, so that's nice. And an additional benefit from replacing coppers in the estates is that I get to jump my opponent. Excellent news for me, right? So another alchemist seems wise, a bank seems excellent, and a pawn seems good too. Especially with the whole trying to pile out the game kind of thing. And actually at this point I should have been looking more closely, more vigorously to ending the game. Because I do have 2 potions, right? Or I believe his rogue snatched one, but I can easily regain a potion with my armory and buy 2 alchemists and the remaining pawns, and that would give me the win. So I wasn't looking for that ending. I was actually looking for the estates and pawns ending. And well, not necessarily those 2, but I was looking for it in 2 turns rather than one, right? So I was only seeing myself buying one alchemist this turn, which is stupid, right? It is just stupid. Maybe it's a connection issues here. I don't know why, but like I said, not looking for the end of the game is stupid, is bad play, right? I've already demonstrated to you several times this season that my end game sight, my end game vision is not what it used to be. So something for me to work on. So here, the play would have been to regain a potion. Mixinock pointed this out in the chat after the game, and then I could have drawn with my pawns into the potion and had enough money to buy all the pawns and alchemists. I would just have to use these pawns for plus buy to get up to the correct number of buys, but I did have the win on this turn, didn't go for it, but I put myself into a position where I couldn't lose, so that is okay too, I guess. I guess that's okay too. I purchased a Hamlet here. I don't know why. I don't know why. Just black market happy. And what I do buy is colony, so that definitely puts me, far, far ahead. My opponent can't pile out on me. Still traumatized. Still suffering from that trauma from the first game. All the more reason to look for pileouts, but no, you don't want to do that. You want to do your own thing. Give the man more opportunity to end the game on you. Anyways, Colony here, the other alchemist, and on the next turn my opponent decides to call it a game because I don't think I'll miss the pile out with 4 pawns and an alchemist, or even the workers village at this point, right? Or the estate. There's so many low piles, but I did have it on this turn, didn't go for it, but at least I put myself in a position where I couldn't lose. So after his resignation, that ends game 3 here. Training and inheritance. Yeah, that was big. That was big. Alright, so thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next game.